So we are trying to load into game number 5 here of Faith versus Axslav. We did just have an unfortunate disconnect from Faith in game number 5 of the series. It is all tied up 2-2. Faith is our red Terran up in the top right, and Axslav is our blue Protoss, top left, excuse me, and Axslav is our blue Protoss down in the bottom right. It looks like that lag has been cleared up, though, and hopefully Faith does not have any more connection issues. He did lose power, so he should be all set to go now. The power is back on, and he will be able to continue this series. Once again, a best of 7 here in Week 3 of Clash for the Cash. I am Zyori.
And I am Janitor, as Faith walls off his very own way. We are from Hypercrew TV. Go check us out at hypercrew.com if you haven't. I don't know how you're watching this video, actually, if you don't know who we are. But anyway, Axslav will be chrono boosting out those probes, doing everything standard, probably going to be scouting right after that gateway goes down. But this has been a very, very interesting series so far. Both players have played their very own style. Axslav a little bit more standard than Faith. Faith has gone for an all-in. He's been a little bit more unpredictable than Axslav. Axslav so far has 1 gate expoed every single game. And Faith, while still 1 Rex, 1 Factory, 1 Starport, that 1-1-1 build that became so popular a while ago, he's actually been doing that every single game, but his follow-up has been significantly different every single game.
Yeah, and that's the difference between an opener and a strategy, and you've hit the nail on the head there. Faith has been doing that same opener, but switches it up every single time. And I'd be curious to see how he chooses which actual strategy he's going to blossom into. He plants that seed with his opener and then lets that beautiful flower come out with his micro skills.
Beautiful, beautiful analogy.
But we'll see.
Metaphor, I guess.
You know, we'll see what they do. This is interesting because we've already seen the beginning of this match, as that disconnect in the last match was about 18 minutes into the game or something like that. So it was pretty far along. Both players were on 3 bases, and it just had a really big, even exchange with that same unit comp that we've seen in the previous matches. We saw Axslav with the heavy Zealot Archon army with a couple of Colossus mixed in, and Faith with some of those Vikings to deal with the Colossi, and then a very heavy Bio Ball to follow that up. So far, it looks like Faith is going to go for that same kind of strategy here. He does have a factory on the way, and that barracks pumping Marines pretty quickly. We'll see if he decides to go for that reactor on the barracks once again before or after the starport comes down. He's going to go ahead and get that second gas a little bit earlier here, but we'll probably see some Banshees once again. Axslav taking a fast expand, as we would expect him to. The 1-gate fast expand, and we'll see that second gate come down in just a few moments.
Yeah, definitely right. And interestingly, Axslav did sacrifice his Stalker there. He's usually gotten that Stalker out relatively early, but instead just throwing down the Nexus, sacrificing the early Stalker for an early Nexus, will put him in an economic, or at least a little bit of an economic advantage. You can see VPFaith doing everything standard by his book. He's going to be throwing down a Starport. Ooh, an Armory? Oh, Faith, you dirty dog. What are you up to? You're going to be throwing down a tech lab onto that factory and producing a very quick Thor. This could actually be beautiful for him, as Axslav will probably depend on those force fields to do quite a bit of the damage. But if Faith has a nice big army value going his way, those Thors will just be able to trample over the whatever they're called, the force fields. As you can see, that one Stalker is going to be moving up here, and he's going to see the same old thing that he's seen every single game. So Axslav will desperately need a robotics facility to go scout that armory and know what's going on. Faith showing us something interesting each and every single game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Still with that same style opener, although this game he opted to skip the starport. He just went straight for that factory, and there it is, Janitor. That first Thor is on the way. Very, very quick Thor indeed. We'll see exactly what he does with it if he just moves over and puts early pressure on, and I think that's probably what he'll try to do. As you mentioned, Axslav's really going to be counting on these force fields to keep him safe. We see another sentry on the way, and Thors are massive units and can just knock those force fields down, so Faith may be able to win on this crafty one-base play, as we've seen him win a few of these other matches with these one-base all-ins. This is actually very exciting. We haven't seen a Thor rush in quite some time here in anything, not in the Clash for the Cash or in any of the Hypercrew Opens. So I'll be excited to see how Faith pulls this off and if it will be super effective. Right now, those army values are not so close. Faith pretty far ahead. That first Thor has popped out, and the second one is on the way. Love to see him try and pull a couple of SCVs, and more than a couple SCVs on the way, but he will be able to repair that Thor very, very easily here, and he has a lot of potential to do some pretty significant damage with this push. Glancing at Harvesters, as we would expect, Axslav is ahead by about 15 Harvesters, quite significant this early on in the game, but uh-oh, it has been scouted by Axslav. It looks like he has seen the Thor. He has indeed. He knows what's coming his way, and he is going to go ahead and retreat, move his way back to the base, but the Thor is moving in. Janitor, Stalkers versus Thors and SCVs.
Yeah, not a very good combination. Here comes the Thor. It looks like he is on auto repair with all those SCVs. Axslav pulling back here, wants to get that Immortal out as quickly as possible. Quickly targeting down that Nexus. Axslav is going to be forced to pull back all of these probes. There it goes. All the probes are getting pulled off. The sentries do pop Guardian Shield, and you can see him target firing down those sentry or those SCVs. It looks like all the Marines in the back getting to do free damage here. Axslav in a terrible position, did not scout any of this. Unfortunate for him. Faith did a very nice job denying all of that scouting information. He does have the high ground advantage here, but he's not going to be able to use force fields to cut down that army value. You can see Faith is full health on the Thor, and another Thor will be joining the fight. The Immortal is just about to pop out. Another one going to get queued up instantly. Taking a look at the unit counting station, still ahead on probes, but not by very much. Those Marines are target firing down the Immortal, but Axslav has really great control here. Has actually done a very nice job holding that off. If he can hold this this really huge aggression off, this will be pretty game-changing. You can see there goes down the Immortal. Another one is about to pop out. I would have preferred to see him actually keep that Immortal alive for a little bit longer. The Nexus will end up falling here for Axslav, which I think is why he sacrificed the Immortal. Wanted to save that Nexus, but he will not be able to. The Immortal is out yet again and will start doing some more damage here. Faith happily backing up now, as you can see, the army value in favor of our Protoss player.
Yeah, Faith really just needs to turn and fight here. A smart choice. He's not going to be able to get away with that Thor intact. He is just too big and too slow, but the damage has been done. 21 Harvesters killed compared to the 10 SCVs he pulled. We're still going to see Axslav slightly ahead on Harvesters, but wow, the damage has been done. Those two Thors really crippling Axslav early on. If we look at the units loss differential here, 3,600 to only 2,300 of VP Faith. A beautiful timing push with those Thors very, very early on. And taking out that Nexus is going to slow down Axslav quite a bit. As we see, he's trying to save up minerals to drop that Nexus, and there it goes. Axslav is going to try to counterattack here, but I doubt it's going to be too successful. That Thor on the high ground will be able to do quite a bit of damage. Axslav does have the Observer in a good spot to do some damage here, and he is going to be able to abuse the range of those Stalkers, but all of these Marines are just going to hop in that bunker, and Axslav really isn't going to be able to do too much with this push.
An important thing to note right here is that Axslav does scout the expansion, so he's going to feel very, very safe throwing down his very own Nexus. I do want to point out that that damage that Faith did, while pretty significant, is actually just about what he needed to do to keep the game even. Right now, the unit counting station, Faith is still behind on workers, and he's going to be getting his second expansion up a little bit late. Axslav feels pretty confident right now. He's chrono boosting out a lot of probes that are unfortunately getting misrallied just a little bit there, but that is exactly what VP Faith needed to do. He needed to kill all those workers. He needed to take that second expansion down, but Axslav is going to feel pretty good right now. You can see he's just continuing to harass, wants to keep VP Faith in his base. Might actually get a free supply depot kill. Looks like he will end up doing that. One SCV coming over to try and repair, but Faith is going to have a little bit of a hard time pushing out here. Axslav with a little miniature contain. His base is up now. You can see the Twilight Council is going down, and Zealots with that charge are going to do significant damage to Thors if VP Faith continues to build them. The minerals in his main still holding up pretty decently, but he's going to have that expansion down shortly.
Yeah, and I think Faith is actually okay with the timing of this contain. He used that time to get that orbital command up, and now he's going to try to pick it up and move it down. Still a little bit afraid of the contain, doesn't have great vision, but will move down before too long here, and will be able to get that second base up. Glancing at the Harvester count here, Faith really not producing Harvesters too aggressively, behind by about 12, and given how many Harvesters he's killed already, Axslav is really producing those probes very, very quickly here. We see a couple queued up as well as Blink on the way. You mentioned charge lots, and Axslav here is going to opt to go for Blink first, not going for charge right away, which is certainly an interesting choice. Blink Stalkers versus Thor play is just very interesting. Generally, you would want to see that charge Zealot come down very aggressively. So we'll see how this Blink works for him. Perhaps he's got something crafty up his sleeve. He could potentially try to blink up this hill here with that Observer.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of from Axslav is that he wants to utilize the quickness of those Blink Stalkers. He knows how slow Thors are and how mech-heavy VPFaith's unit composition has been thus far. I do want to point out there is a Banshee out, and I think it might get scouted by this probe. Yes, it is going to get... Ooh, oh, will it get scouted? Now the question is, yes, it will. It looks like Faith going to kill that probe and make sure that Axslav knows that the Banshee is alive. And Axslav will be warping in some Stalkers, but Blink going to be happy to take care of that for him. When Colossus is out, extended thermal lance about 40 seconds from completion, and he'll be continuing to pump out those Colossus, interestingly throwing down a quick Templar Archives, something you don't see this early very often, especially not on two bases. We'll have to see when Axslav ends up expanding as he has all 4 of his gases right now. You can see very aggressive Blink Stalker play, wants to take out that Banshee before it even gets to his base.
Yeah, certainly right. Axslav's done a great job predicting where these units are going to be and moving in. There he is taking out that Banshee. Great play from Axslav right there, using that Observer and just moving around with these 5 Stalkers, dominating the map and maintaining map control. Has control of that top Xel'Naga tower and feels pretty confident about his dominance across the map at the moment. He is going to go ahead and get that charge upgrade now, as well as, well, to complement that Blink, as it's already been completed. As you mentioned, Thermal Lance was on the way and is now since completed, and that level 1 weapons, or level 2 weapons, pardon me, is on the way as well. So Axslav is in a great spot as far as upgrades are concerned. Stim just about to finish up for Faith. So we're going to see a relatively large attack come down before too long, but right now Axslav is feeling so good, ahead by about 35 supply, and only about 13 of that is in Harvesters, so he's really in a good spot as far as army is concerned.
That's exactly right, and he's going to be taking his third now. So he's throwing down a couple of pylons. Faith doesn't have vision of this quite yet, but he will get it. Basically, as soon as that Nexus does finish, Axslav will probably see that SCV and start attacking it. And Faith will know that that third expansion is up. Still just some Stalkers chilling out in the front of Faith's base. He will know exactly when he moves out, as all of those Vikings are prepped to deal with the Colossus. But you can see he's already teched up to Archons. That's what the Templar Archives is for. Charge is just about finished. 3 gateways are on their way, and the +1 armor just now coming down. The +2 attack already finished for Axslav, way ahead in those upgrades, and he's going to do so much damage. He's going to do so well in any of the upcoming engages.
Yeah, that huge upgrade boost is really going to help. As you mentioned, that only the +1 weapons for that infantry is on the way for Faith, so that mech really is going to be doing a whole lot, and only 1 Thor is on the field at the moment. That Raven could be a game changer, though. Don't underestimate the power of the point defense drone. Really does counter those Stalkers very, very effectively. We're going to see a big engage come up here, though. 20 supply difference in favor of Axslav. Axslav still not too eager to engage this here. Wants to see that point defense drone come down, and then he's going to try to back up and fight outside of it. It looks like Axslav is on the aggressive here, though, and he may be able to pick off a couple of stray units with a blink to start the engagement. The Vikings are going to move in, instantly trying to drop the Colossi. One of them is just about to fall. Still a lot of Vikings alive, doing a ton of damage to these huge, huge Colossus units. But the damage has been done. The infantry is so weak. This 1 Archon is doing a ton of damage here, and it looks like Axslav is going to come out way ahead. Those charge lots moving in, doing a lot of damage, and Faith already with the GG.